Showtime. Good stuff. Do we have do we actually have anyone online yet, or are we just
Oh, we
Showtime?
are live. I can see 0 viewers.
Good, good.
It's
That's a
live.
start. And we're also recording.
Yeah, it should be.
Good. Do you want to wait for viewers, or do we just start and have it be the recording?
Mad feedback. I got it. There we go. I figured it out. All right, cool. Right now we have 3 viewers. We can start.
Nice. That's good to hear. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to XUSD's AMA. We are here with John and Caddy. And so, hey there. Um, Coming from different locations, I think. I'm I'm in Egypt currently, so if I cut out, blame the Egyptian hotel. I'm sorry. But I'm for. Um, yeah, so it's been the holidays, and we have met each other on the 27th, and then there was New Year's Eve. I wish everyone a great 2025. And John and or Caddy, Doug, how have you survived it? New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah. New Year's Eve was tiring. It was very tiring. Went to a show and danced for a really long time for the first time in a while, and my feet hurt. And yeah, no, it was a good time. I heard some Dugada
So-
music, and yeah, it was a good time. It was a
I,
long night.
I love how you narrate that. Like, it was a good time, man. My feet hurt. No,
Yeah,
but I'm happy for you.
yeah, it
Awesome.
was great.
So, dubstep music and stuff like
No,
that.
it was psytrance. So psytrance. So it
Psytrance.
was straight on
Nice.
Dugada music. Dugada 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 dugada. It was it was
Oh
fun.
yeah, that can go
It's
funny.
it's great because like it's a great genre. I like it a lot. In the United States, they don't have that like at all. There was like maybe one psytrance festival I had gone to, and that was about it. So that was like the first psytrance show I had been able to go to. And I think Nikki is frozen again. He'll probably be back. He has VPN issues in Egypt. So let's see what happens. But anyway, Caddy, how was your New Year's Eve?
I'm back.
Oh,
Hello.
my New
It
Year's
was the
Eve
first
was great. Unfortunately, missed the fireworks for the first time in my life, probably. But yeah, it was a great party. And went
So you
back
belong to
home the
big bands.
next day. Basically, arrived home at 12 the next day. So that's what you call a good New Year's Eve.
Awesome. All right. Well, looks like you're
Nice.
back, Nikki.
Yeah, I'm sorry I left. I didn't really do it on purpose. Um, Mine was good as well, but I was just with family, so it was kind of easygoing and chill. Um,
Sure.
Also because we had to take a plane on the second to Egypt, so we thought to not exhaust ourselves too much. But it was good. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Hey, so what's cooking with XUSD? What's coming? What's happening?
All right. So we actually I was just talking to the dev team earlier today, and we have a good amount of the updated front end. It's almost completed. So that's going to be awesome to get situated and put out. It's going to be super fast, super updated. It's going to look really nice. I'm excited about it. And I have found out that the whole routing API stuff with PulseX super easy to grab, shouldn't be a problem. Um, but yeah, other than that, I got my desk all set up finally. I have my nice
Good.
monitor up there, so I can do multi-screen. I have my dual boot set up on my laptop, so I can boot up right into Ubuntu and start coding away. So it's pretty nice. I'm
Oh,
happy
nice.
about it finally.
Awesome. I also saw a photo of you behind a huge screen, so
Yeah, it's
you've got everything really well
yeah,
fleshed out. I see.
it's pretty sweet. It's I forget how big the monitor is, but like it's you probably it's like about 2.5 screens. Or my previous 2 monitor setup or 3 monitor setup. It would be about cover that, but then without the margins, and it was like really cheap too, comparative to like 3 screens altogether.
That's good. That's always good, right? If you can get it for a good price. Very happy to hear
Right?
that.
Yeah.
So
It's was it 49 inches? That's how big it is.
that's really big.
Mhm.
Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's
I
nice.
mean, I'm glad to hear that. And so have you already been working, or are you going to start soon, or what's how's that
Yeah.
going?
So, yeah, I've been doing a little bit of work. So, like, because haven't been doing it for so long, it was like I had to like ease my way back into it, if you will. Especially because
Mhm.
now we have updated the entire front end to use VM. I had to kind of like learn it a little bit, at least the way Constantine has it all set up and laid out. And went
To
in
use.
there and actually, yeah, VM is like a Ethers JS or Web 3. It's like a library in JavaScript that we use
Okay.
to connect to the blockchain, if you will. And
Okay.
VM is a newer one. It's newer than either of the other two. It's a little bit more complicated in a way, but it's all type safe and like if used correctly, it's superior to like all the rest. I think personally. And so now that it's like
What
set
does
up with correct models and everything, the constant setup, it's just yeah, so it's easier to like kind of like place things in. It takes up a lot less code, and it is pretty legit.
awesome? And what does type safe mean?
TypeSafe uses TypeScript. So TypeScript is like a form of JavaScript that is type safe. So what that means is that like, let's say you have not a variable, an object that is supposed to be a number. Well, you declare it as a number in TypeScript, so it's always a number. In JavaScript, you don't need to do that. So, like, if you have a big file or a big project, you have to kind of guess what it is. But in TypeScript, it's type safe, so it will warn you in like your developer environment, being like, "Hey, you can't use this for that. It has to be a number or a string or something like that." So making it type safe means that it is easily usable across a large database of code, and it's much more efficient to use TypeScript and type safe kind of coding when it comes to large projects and working with a team as well.
Awesome. Like I never knew that such a small question could have such an interesting answer. Like
Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah,
So
it's pretty intense, if you will.
yeah, but it's also a nice security measure. It sounds like.
Yeah, it makes it easier to code with within a team. And there are like pros and cons with it. Like JavaScript, you can just throw something together and it'll go. It looks like it frozen again. But like yeah, with TypeScript, you kind of have to declare everything and make sure that it functions correctly, and all that kind of stuff. But once it's all set up and used properly across your entire code base, you'll be good to go. Oh, we have Anders. Here we go. We got 2 people not there,
Yeah.
but they're there. Oh, I hear you. Oh, there you go, Anders. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I see how if I can.
Awesome.
My internet connection is really bad though, but I hope it works.
You're sounding good so far. Yeah, there you are. We got pretty good internet here in Lithuania. I'm not gonna lie, it's blazing fast. Compared to in the States, I was getting like 80 megabytes download, and here it's pretty crazy. I think a couple hundred.
Yeah, we normally have it very good in Sweden as well, but the place I'm staying here, it's like really bad, and I'm using VPNs as well, but I don't.
Right.
I've not been able to figure out why it's so bad here, though.
Well, you're coming through clear now.
Okay, that's good. So how are you
Yeah, it
going,
looks like we lost
Kenny?
Nikki.
Okay.
He Anders asked how you're doing, Kenny.
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. How was your New Year's, Anders?
You?
Nikki, are you back?
Yes, I am back.
Anders,
I
there you go.
switched to hotspot, hoping
Oh,
that
there you
is
go.
because
Awesome.
this Wi-Fi of the hotel isn't really working, and the hotspot hopefully will. It's a 4G, but should do it.
Right.
And
So, Anders, how was your New
Anders,
Year's? Frozen.
I think he's frozen. He seems frozen.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is oh, there he is.
Yeah. Now, so
So it's a lag party, not a LAN party today.
Yeah.
it's there is these hotels. Internet is really.
He's got the same issue as I have.
Yeah,
Right.
I have, or maybe.
So I mean, that's being a digital nomad for you. It sounds good, but it's not.
Yeah, but it is.
Anders, for the next AMA, you should visit us in Lithuania. You will be sure to have better internet here, and to be more exact, it's more like I have 1 gigabit. Just it reaches the maximum router capacity. So yeah.
Yeah, we have now when you are like in a hotel, and I'm at the hotel now, and then you're using the Wi-Fi. It's like really bad.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I now switched. I've got one of these SIM cards that you can buy as a tourist, and I've got one of them for Egypt right now, and that one is holding out. So that's a better idea, actually. Use that.
Nice.
I have actually one other phone that maybe, but we can. Otherwise, I just log out and then I join in.
Okay. So are we going to enrich the community with more of our lags, or are we going to tell something interesting?
Let's talk more about
You.
I know that Anders has started streaming with Steven, so maybe it's something that Anders could talk more about. How did the streams go, and what happened? What further streams are planned with Steven and maybe other streamers? It would be interesting to know.
Yeah, we had a very good stream just the day before Christmas. I think we did it, and it.
technical difficulties.
Involved, and so on in XUSD. Can you hear me or?
Yep. Now we can.
Yeah.
Now we can, but a lot of your sentence slowly.
So it was really, it was a very exciting stream. So I recommend if anyone missed it, they should go in and have a look on that. Yeah, so we are going to do like regular streams, both me and Steven, and then we're going to have different.
Black party.
It is a lag party, man. But at least I'm sorry, Anders. I'm gonna cut you off because you're barely you're lagging away. Um, uh, but then again, like, what is on the menu right now? Because you said, "Hey, I'm starting back to work." So, what is coming? What are the next few things coming up in the next week or
Yeah, so the
next 2 weeks?
next stream with Steven is planned.
Soon, it's planned soon.
Yeah. So that
It's not working.
we're logging on
All
my
right.
Just-
hotspot as well. Wait, let's see.
yes,
Yeah,
please
I'm
use your
logging out
hotspot.
from this. Yeah.
Good. But same question to you then, John. Like, what is coming in the coming week or two?
Probably an updated let's see, yeah, the updated front end should be up here in the next week. We have the weekend was today's Friday or Thursday? I always forget. Thursday, so Friday tomorrow. No, wait, it's Friday today. That's right. So we have the weekend, so no work on the weekends, but next week, Monday through Friday, fully ready to work quite heavily, to be honest. So we should have most of the front end done or updated to the new front end, if you will, with the new front end, back end. I don't know how to call it because we have like, the blockchain is a back end in of itself, but we have the new VM back end and API routes for the numbers and stuff like that, which pretty much done with unit testing and everything. I actually just fixed the APIs on it so that they're perfect. And that should be updated here pretty soon. Probably within the next 2
Okay,
working days. I would
that's
like to
awesome
say.
to hear. And yeah, you were also working on the calculator, I hear.
Yep. Yeah,
How
we're
far is
gonna get
that? Is it coming?
I haven't really made any more progress on it just yet. I want to get the updated front end first, and then we'll integrate that in because the calculator is almost done, but I want to make sure that it is in line with all of our unit testing and everything that Constantine has done to self-audit the front end currently with all the new VM stuff and whatnot. So it's better to do that first and then get calculator integrated in.
Okay. And Caddy, we had the documents. Like I made a little, another setup, and then you took it over because you wanted to add like the precisions or actually the precise metrics of the tokenomics, and you also wanted to enter some of the old docs themselves. And how's that coming along? Will people see an updated document soon?
Yes, so essentially, you gave a very nice structure framework for the docs that you wrote in December. And what I'm planning to do is basically take the carcass that you wrote and fill the information, more extensive information from the docs that we had, and fill that in, keeping the structure that you started. So that shouldn't take too long because all the material is written. It just has to be merged in a way that it makes sense. So yeah, I would actually see it done within the next week too. So I'm not yet sure if
That's
we will
nice.
stick to. I'm not yet sure if we will stick to having the docs on GitHub or if we will have them in another format. We'll have to see about that. if we stick with the GitHub, they will be updated really fast. And if we choose to change the format of the docs, then it would take a little bit longer to type all of that in. So, but yeah, anyway, in either case, the new docs should be ready next week for people.
All right. Now, what would be a consideration of taking a different format? Because what are you considering for the people there?
Basically, my consideration to do the new format comes from the fact that it's a little bit easier to navigate a document that looks like it has. It just follows structures from start to finish, essentially, and I would be using Overly for that, which is writing docs in a publishing language called LaTeX that has been used for some other DeFi projects that are a little bit bigger as well, and together as scientific publications. And because we will have lots of formulas coming in, that would make it by far easier for me to put the formulas in, especially when we get to the point of having like minting protocol and all the formulas used for the minting protocol. All of that will be in future available for the docs. So essentially that would be priming it up for future as well. I have to take
All
that
right.
into
Well, that's actually a really good reason. That sounds like a really good reason. Hey, I've got a question here from Mike Angelo. He says we have 533 members in Telegram, but only 6 viewers here. That's out of balance. How can we change that? Who wants to take this?
Yeah, I'll take it. So yeah, I kind of already responded in the comments, but like so because we're on YouTube now, we will continuously grow that number week after week as we continue these streams, and because it is easily replayable and shareable through YouTube, it's just going to continue to grow, essentially. And yeah, and once we get it out on our Twitter more and everything like that, it should grow. I know this one today, we weren't quite sure if we were even going to make it onto the YouTube or to the Twitter because this is a new piece of software that we're using, but man, it was really easy to use, to be honest. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I've got another thing to add there.
Yeah, I also
The
have
team is
another thing to add there.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So basically, our last stream that we did, I think during the peak time, the one that we did all together from Thailand, had 33 viewers max, I believe, while the stream was live. However, that video has more than 200 views now. So that shows that people do watch those streams after, and it's worth to keep them on YouTube. And I think another important thing to keep in mind is that it's still the holiday season, and many people are not yet used to the format of changing from Telegram to YouTube, and as well as having holidays. So I think that might be the main reason why we don't have as many viewers as we could possibly have right now. But of course, that will change in the future with holiday season ending.
Of course, but also consistency. I mean, normally we stream on Thursday. Now we stream on Friday. That's actually my fault because yesterday I was coming from the airport actually. So and then we basically only set today a couple of hours before this stream, like, hey, we're gonna have the AMA and stuff like that. So our information flow isn't optimized yet. We just throw things into the Telegram, and then when people see it in time, they will show up or not if they can. But it's hard to plan for our AMAs for people, so we aren't doing that right yet. At the same time, I do think that we are going to do that better and better. Also, we need to find a good way for us to organize that for people to find it easily, maybe an easier format than, for example, having just pinned comments in the Telegram. So this is also a task. I see this as a task for myself because as a community manager, I should be about information flow. About that, like the team as it is right now has been formed at the end of November. And within December, also in Thailand, we came together a bit more and we started talking a bit more in an easier way. And now we actually have that time to actually start implementing our new things, and we're out of the woods, and now we can start building stuff like that. So I'm definitely also going to think about how to improve information flow, how to make sure that everyone knows when things are, and so on and so forth. So this will improve from multiple sides, and of course people also just watch the reviews, which is good. The next question would be Fihan Armani saying, when is PAG?
Yeah. So we still are in the distribution phase, so we are inflating. I honestly don't think it will be too long after we turn off the inflation or the distribution. I actually think that we will get there quicker than expected. This is something that we kind of have been talking about for a little bit now, and I don't know, it seems to me that we would get there pretty quickly. I can't really put a time frame on that, but it's the amount of number that we have been burning, and when we switch to a different reward token like OneSwap, the OneSwap will be sold automatically even by XUSD as well. So it's going to have a constant buy pressure to it no matter what. And then once FOMO occurs, people will then start to buy in more, and then it's just gonna ratchet up. And then with the whole chain itself kind of going up as well with PDI, I don't think it'll be too long after we turn off the distribution phase. I don't say like a day or two, but like a few months afterwards, I would think. You're muted, Nikki.
I am so
There you go.
sorry. I muted myself. I am so sorry. Um, so the next question is related, and I think I will roll this one to Caddy, unless you still want to take it, John. And this question is from Rofil Andaluza, and they're asking, what will be the target supply? Is it still going to be 1 billion?
So the target supply for turning the inflation off, or overall target supply of XUSD?
Let's say the target supply before we turn the inflation off. But it's nice, I think, to explain how you can interpret this question in two ways.
Yes. So the target supply at the moment, I would see being around 400 to 500 million of XUSD. Before we turn the inflation off. However, in the old docs we have given a time estimate of 26 weeks after launch before we turn inflation off. So if we keep going at the pace we are currently going, that will end up into us having about 400 million of supply. However, if we speak about general supply of XUSD, with the minting protocol is going to be elastic, so the supply of XUSD will depend on the demands from the community. I think that's the best answer I could give right now with the information that we have and the plans that we make. So if we take into account that we launched on the 24th of September, that leaves us having roughly a little bit under 3 months of not genesis, but distribution phase.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, a little under 3 months. Wilfa Andaluza says that it would be like 2 months, something like that. Um, and then, of course, to expand on what you said a little bit more, you said it depends on basically what the community needs. So that means that we will basically mint more or distribute more or inflate more, however you wish to say it, whenever XUSD is above the normal level. Whenever it is above $1, there will be more. So that if XUSD is above $1 for a long time, then there will be a whole lot more supply minted. And then when it goes down to below $1, then we will contract again. That's how it goes. And then he adds, "Thanks, I'm here since day one." Well, thank you so much, man. Happy to see that.
Yeah, thank you for your support.
And your questions. It's always good. So you mentioned the PDI narrative, John. Is this
Yep.
is this still within the vision? Because some people are starting to doubt it sometimes. And so what's your vision on that?
I think it'll go there. Anders might have some more to say on the whole PDI vision. I know. I think it will go there. I don't know the time frame for it. Anders, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, all logic is there that the PDI narrative is true. All the on-chain data, as we see, that if you would like to follow, there are some excellent guys, Decentralized Me. I would recommend that you can follow and see the activities, and also like wallets that can be linked to Richard's dev team and so on. And also the logic in where Richard comes from, and for the 170,000 ETH we have in the SAC funds and so on, using the PDI is of course 10x the usefulness of the 170,000 ETH. So that also a big yes, why the PDI narrative is true, and probably the biggest reason for any doubters is that if the PDI, if it wouldn't be Richard and the Richard devs that is doing it, then Richard would never let an unknown actor that is not controlled by Richard to build up like now the third largest coin in the Polchain ecosystem with over $1 billion in monetary energy. So that would of course be actually the biggest reason why the PDI narrative will happen. Then of course it's a matter of timing.
Yeah.
When
Could you be closer to your mic, Anders? Because there's a question here.
yeah,
Sir Anders, your
yeah,
mic is not with them.
someone that's having some sound coming in here from you guys, but I try to be a little closer because I don't have. Hope, do you hear me a little better now?
Still about the same. So
Okay,
they'll
I
just
will
have to.
speak louder then. And then it's
Yes.
probably a matter of time to when there's different speculations. We saw some very interesting activities during Christmas, where actually everything moved. Even XUSD moved up to 16 cents, I think. That was like a few trades going up there, done on PulseX. And PDI went, I think, to 80 cents or 60 cents, and also wrapped BTC went to 33,000. So it was on chain. So that was very interesting, and I think that happened if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and there is of course a lot of speculations if this was Richard's team testing and so on. And
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
Maria thinks about it.
yeah, and Maria, I think he believes that the peg will happen in February. That was what he believes, which is very interesting, and so on. There is others that maybe think it will take a little longer, and Somi, I think that he thinks it will be between March and July next year. But at the same time, Somi, your friend Somi, that I also suggest everyone to follow, he bases his knowledge on decentralized and indirectly Maria as well. So I think yeah, it can happen anytime. I am not. Uh, uh, I don't think that it will be like a slow process that will like step by step go to the peg. It will basically be overnight. It will happen, you know. So that means that when so it's yeah, it can come, and also I think that it's even if the rest of the crypto market is quite slow now, and Bitcoin have gone back a little bit, I still believe that it could be the right time to do the PDI peg, because that means that the Pulse chain will be one of the most profitable blockchains, and will attract a lot of monetary energy if it would be happening during when everything else is slow in crypto. So I believe that the reasoning actually that it could come sooner than later.
Well, it could be. In his speech on Christmas, Richard Hart said something about certain tokens. Like he mentioned specifically not wanting to shield tokens that were bad tokens. You know, so when he gave his examples about like what to trade and what not to trade, he was really struggling
Yeah.
to not name tokens that he didn't want to shield.
No, but he
So
named
then eventually a little bit.
DAI.
He named Die right after saying that, and I don't know if that's a hint, but it kind of sounds
No,
like one to me. So
yeah,
that absolutely,
yeah,
I think, is a good nice hint from him with Christmas, like.
yeah,
So he better be
and
right.
and all and also and you can always do the that argument back to do it like on the other side, you know, like even if he's mentioned it, if it wouldn't be like Richard doing it and Richard Devs doing it, why would he then mention die in a pair, you know? Because that would be is taking like economic energy from Richard's core coins, Hex and Ink and PLX, you know, and Pulse. So it's the same there. You can always do the other way around, that he would then, you know, like really say something that would make people really turned off of the PDI narrative. But all the economic logic is there as well. This, I think it's like Somi have also done those calculations that 170,000 ETH and also the God Whale ETH, which is double that amount. I think that when that is pumping Pulse chain, that means around 22x of the core coins, but using it with a P-die as a money printer, that could be another 10x. We are talking by printer, doing the peg, then using that as a printing machine, and having the collateral of the core coins, the original address core coins. That means that we can do another 10, so that means 220x that can pump the whole ecosystem with.
It's really interesting because if most of the monetary energy just goes right into PDI itself, it's going to bring up so many tokens on the chain, including all the P copies as well, because a lot of them are paired with it. So if you want to bring everybody up in one go, you just pump PDI essentially. And I mean that would be the way to do it.
Yep.
And like you're right, I think
Absolutely.
it's the most compelling point for me is that if he didn't want the money to go there, why would he not say, "Hey, don't buy that token, buy PulseX"? And
Exactly.
it just makes no sense if he wasn't supporting it.
So for people who are watching the rerun of this AMA, a question was asked like, who confirms if Maria is a he or she? Well, Maria is on video and seems masculine to just about anyone, but his resume is also on his GitHub, and Maria is actually just a character that he assumed. And his name is, who knows his name? John, do you know it? Or Anders?
It's
His
James
real
is
name?
his first name. Yeah, James
Yeah.
Osborne.
James. Yeah.
And there
James
is
Osborne. So
videos
Maria
online,
is James Osborne.
and there is
Yeah.
online videos from Amsterdam. You can see his presentations and so on. So very interesting.
Yeah. He's a very flamboyant character. It's wonderful to look
He's
at.
fabulous.
Yes, absolutely. So Rufa Andalusa is also asking like when marketing, which is an interesting question. Like when do we start our proper marketing run and says, guys, come look at our project. When is that?
So we have started a little bit being on streams and so on, but as we discussed before Christmas as well, before we really getting people in to look at our project, we want to have the docs updated, because we think that there is a lot of improvements that needs to be done there. And we also talked before Christmas about the calculator, so people can actually go in and try and understand the vibe system even more. And that is what we see. When we have those ready, then we will push harder, because otherwise, if you push hard when your information is not you would like it to use more than you are getting.
Yes. You seem to be
now,
falling away again, Anders.
Yeah, to kind of finish off what he
Right.
was saying, if we want the information and everything there to be super clear, understandable, so that when people hear about it and they come and look at the project, the first time they see it, they get it, understand it, and don't have will not have questions about it. Well, but more so, could have more questions about it because it actually makes them more interested in the project. They want to take part, dig more into it, and then buy the token and become more part of the community, more so than be like turned off by just confusing stuff and not even have a question for it because they don't even understand it enough to ask a question, kind of thing.
And I can also add on that we talked about Steven joining us, and Steven, as everyone knows, is like the central streamer in Atropa and about Maria, of course, and also PDI, and of course he loves XUSD and will do a lot of streams with us. And he is also very excited to stream with Surf John, that really have a good understanding what Maria is working on and have done with that whole ecosystem. So that will be a major part of our marketing, and that means that with Steven we will be directly into like thousands of people that is following and watching Steven in the Atropa ecosystem and so on. So that will be an amazing channel for us.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
really
then,
cool to tap into.
basically,
And
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
and then I can also add when we're talking marketing. And I will be a speaker in the Hex conference that
Oh
Maddie
yeah,
All In will do
cool.
next week. And then, of course, I will talk about XUSD as well and so on. And I think that one amazing thing that also came like much clearer in the stream with Steven is that with the PDI narrative, if many people don't like it to be called like the narrative, but because it's like they want it to be more sure, it's not just like a narrative, is that that means that everyone becomes one around that thing, because that means that everything will pump so much in the whole of Poland. XUSD is in an excellent situation because we have our vaults already set up and so on in with all the different assets on Polchain. So when everything pumps, then indirectly XUSD will pump as long. So we have we are in a very, very good situation and place there.
Yeah, really good to hear. Definitely, and I'm looking forward to all of that. And then the when of it is, of course, like as you said, when these things are ready, and we just have discussed that earlier in this AMA. So probably weeks or less away to really have that project going on. Probably it's just me saying that. It's in the end you guys deciding that.
Yeah.
SB says LFV, which I love. I assume the V stands for pipe here. Um, let's do it. Rolfo Andalus also says like, hey, we climbed 13x and now it's 2x from floor. We can also go back to 11x in it. In it. You literally write in it. Because that's how English can you get, bro? But yeah, we can. We can. Absolutely. Also asked like, is Maria being known in real life? Is that good to Atropa Eco or not? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Is it like, what do you guys think? Is it good to have it known, or should it remain a mystery? Should it have remained a mystery?
I think it's good. I mean, most projects that are reputable or kind of going out there or that are doing very successful things are all doxed, especially on the Pulse chain. Honestly, I personally don't think it is truly necessary. I think, when people do their own research, they should understand the chain and the code in itself, and more so than the team, because even a docs team can rug, if you will. But it does instill a certain kind of trust, and also, like, I know with us, we have a good amount of background and knowledge, and including Maria, he has, like I said, his resume is online, and you can look at it, and he has a huge, scientific background and all that kind of stuff, and like we do too. So it's nice to kind of put that out there, more so not to gain trust, but to gain trust in our knowledge, I guess. if you will. So I think it does help.
It does, and I think that also when Maria went public and went to Amsterdam and so on, I think that Atropa and everything went like 10-20x up, and people, they really started to trust the whole ecosystem and so on. So it is important, and it's and to get like normally it is of course the code that speaks for itself, so normally in the blockchain projects, you don't have to have like the developers and so on doxed, because the code should take care of that and be like sufficient. But like a new project, if you do an like in a genesis phase or an expansion phase and so on, where there could be risks in a team, then of course it's so much better to that people know who's behind it, so putting their reputation and on, like we all doing here. So that is of course important.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through a couple of the comments here because there are a lot. Someone saying, like Marcus is saying, Stephen is awesome. Thank you, bro. I think so too. 4-5 says XUSD to the moon. Rafa Andaluza says that surfacing. John, you should tell Maria to buy XUSD. Well, maybe you'll listen. Trade Bra says, when you're going to stop printing coins? There's my question. Basically, that question has already been answered. It's when the current phase is over, which is the distribution phase, which is the printing of tokens to the community, I might add. Because if you hold LP, then the printing is to you. Also, some private beef with 4/5. I'm not going to get into that. And then there are questions about outstanding rewards, to which the correct answer is D, surfacing directly. And there's a question here like that he hasn't been answering. So John, check your DMs.
I'll get to it.
That's it. Yeah. I'm all in, by the way. Love it. New addiction. I have onboarded both brothers. So great job. Okay, thank you so much, bro. That was from Health Whisperers. There's also
First thing Monday.
Come again?
Oh, it'll be the first thing on my list on Monday.
Okay.
So I already have it planned.
Good. So, then two good questions from SB. Like, can XUSD be successful if PDI does not peg? Which is a good question, I think. And also, is there a use case for XUSD that will increase demand when the current supply continues to inflate? When will the inflation period end? About 2 months. Like, that has been answered. So look at this same AMA back for when it will end. It would be about 2 to 3 months. That's what's been said. But there are some details to it that you might want to look at. But the question stands, can XUSD be successful if PDI does not peg? John, will you take that?
Oh, I'll take the question about
also good.
USD. Yeah, mostly. So the thing is that I do think that we can be successful. However, in order for that to happen, I think that PDI has to get at least close to the peg, and that stems directly from the maths, because we certainly have a smaller liquidity at similar price points, because as you know, as token value goes up, also liquidity and that goes up together with that. So we need a less amount of money to reach PEG. So that's why PDI PEG is not our primary requirement for us to be reaching PEG. And we can do that even without PDI hitting PEG. However, PDI being at PEG is certainly something that will make sure that we do hit that if that does happen. So the easy answer to that is mathematically, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, there's one saying that we like to say is that we burn the peg. Because constantly burning, the supply goes down, and the supply could get down to like one token, and then it'll be easily at peg. It's simple supply and demand in that regards. But yeah, no, it would be a lot easier though if PDI does get to peg.
Yeah, it's a less of a way to go then. That's basically what it is, but it's the same principles.
Yeah.
And for
That makes sense.
yeah, so the next question, yeah.
There wasn't really a next question. Like the primary question, like, do we make it if PDI doesn't pack? But there's also a question: is there a use case for XUSD that will increase demand when the current supply, basically while the current supply continues to increase? Um, do we have use cases like that?
Actually, I think you could probably answer more so of that question. Because it is based, so our use cases, well, we do have a couple kind of use cases like a casino plan, kind of stuff like that. But most of the use cases are going to come from third parties. That's kind of why I'm going to throw that aspect to you, Nikki, because you have been inquired about some of this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been inquired. We've been approached by Zero X Sorcerer about a game that is about dogs. They're some dogs from the future. They're fighting each other. It's a game. It's an NFT game that you play. And Zero X Sorcerer approached us because he wanted to ask, like, hey, can I use XUSD as my token for the iteration of my game on Pulse Chain? Like, he's got that game on on multiple chains, and on Pulse Chain, he would like to use XUSD. So that is a talk that is ongoing. Of course, like, we need to check the project, we need to check him, we need to check whether our tokenomics fit with his, and so on and so forth. But absolutely, stuff like that is good, and it's a wonderful thing to see that when people have projects that require tokens, that they're willing to look around Pulse Chain and see, like, hey, this is actually a good project that I would like to work with, and maybe these tokens are a good use case for my project. So I do think that such things is what we should be looking at.
Yep.
And I've mentioned before, like, hey, I've got, for example, a friend who created a beautiful multi-chain, well, it was a lottery system, and people like that, they need tokens. They need a token that is used by many in the community, and they might as well use XUSD, especially since XUSD, of course, is a token that is going to be controlled by the community with the war room setup and with the bypass voting setup. So eventually, all of us team members will receive back into the background. This will all be decentralized, and you can basically have a token for your game or whatever project you have that you're partially directing. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. I think XUSD is a good choice for that.
Yeah, it's meant to incentivize third party use of it. And like, honestly, like we don't even need to bet the team. If the community thinks that that project isn't good for the token, then they have to pass a vibe class to say, hey, we block access to that protocol essentially, or give it bad vibes essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's always like to have like a stable assets
Mhm.
is of course a huge advantage when you are
Yep.
trading and so on. And as we know, like the stable coins on Ethereum, for example, and if we're looking on the coin market cap, the volume of like Tether and all others, they are like 4 or 5 times the volume of the Bitcoin. So there is like a huge use case of like stable assets. So of course, this will also be like incredible useful, and then we will have like projects adopting, and we also have our marketplace. It's every day, even today, that we are in a very big need like a stable asset when we are sending out rewards and so on to shoppers on the marketplace. And then of course we will integrate XUSD into that too. So that will come naturally with the utility functions of a stable asset. So there will be like a lot of like use cases for that.
Yeah,
And I do have also
absolutely.
other plans, even in the future, for when we get closer to PEG or even like after PEG, if you will, to build upon. Because so one of the biggest reasons why there is a lot of volumes on stablecoins is for the fact that people use them on lending platforms to short and long other tokens. It's part of like how they use that. So taking that into consideration, I have ideas to use XUSD as that leverage token, if you will, against other assets. That's a long time down the road, but I think that will also be a pretty cool aspect as well. But that's a long
Yeah,
time down the road.
Right.
and also to
We've got
go further.
another. Oh, good.
Wait,
Yep, sorry.
because there is also another very interesting aspect of that, and that is the yield farming with using XUSD as well, and especially
Yep.
when we're seeing all of these forms that will happen after like PDI, PEG, and so on. So there will be like massive utility functions in those like yield farming and so on. So.
Yeah. Here's another interesting question, and I think due to the time we should take it as our last question, but it's a strong one. It's a good one, and I think we should talk about it. SB is asking, so if XUSD relies on other tokens' price performance, why should I invest new money in XUSD rather than PDI?
Right.
Well, there's a lot of answers to this, and I'm gonna take one of them already, and that is if you enter in first of all, if you enter into the LPs, then basically and you do that with your favorite token, for example PDI. So say you like PDI, then enter the XUSD DAI LP, and then you basically get a double whammy because all of that that inflation, or basically all of that new distribution, a large part of that will go to your LP that you're actually then having. So in not just your PITA will rise, but also over time your amount of it will rise because you are in that LP in that way. And then we haven't even spoken about the trading rewards and the fight passes, but maybe one of you guys can take that.
Yeah, and I can, as we have those, of course, the VIPAP passes and trading rewards that you can gain while we are going to the PEG. But the final and probably the best argument why invest in XUSD and not directly in PDI is that you basically get 220x at this time to invest into XUSD, and you are getting like 60 70x now, I think, in PDI. So you basically have 150x more in argument, 150x more arguments to invest in XUSD if you believe in the PDI narrative.
And also so another answer to this question. We're not solely relied on the price movement of another token. We burn to peg. Like I said, supply and demand. As supply goes down through trading or even using the token in general, because it burns on every transfer, the supply goes down, which then, even if demand stays the same, the price is going to increase. As we increase more utilities for it, demand will go up. Meaning supply constantly going down and demand going up, we will burn to peg regardless of any other token. So yeah, there's that aspect to it, and that's probably like one of the biggest points to it. That also PDI does not have. It doesn't burn automatically.
And I'd like to add in as well as it was previously said, we don't solely rely on other tokens, but other tokens moving up is helpful. It's just like essentially BTC moving up. When you see BTC moving up super hard, it's helpful for entire crypto scene because you see most of the tokens going up because it's a bull run. So it works in a similar aspect, that other tokens going up help us to go up as well.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take a couple. This last question is LP advisable right now. It is because if you're in the vaults, you're going to be getting rewards automatically, and that's going to be kind of thrown into it. Now, with impermanent loss, if you like the other token that you're getting, or if you're going down as it's going down in price, if you will, you're gaining more XUSD. So if you break at bottom and we turn off inflation, you're going to go up, you're going to have a bigger XUSD bag to go up with. I call it impermanent gains, and I've coined that term. But yeah, and if you're going down and you know token's going to go back up, it's actually a really good play when you're going into the bear market, because you make LP, you're going to get a lot of trading rewards if people are selling through it, and you do with blue chips, if you will, and you're constantly, essentially, it's like an automatic DCA into the token, and then when you're reach the floor, you break it, and then you have a huge bag of a blue chip that you know is going to rise back up in the next bull run. So it's kind of like the same concept here. So making LP now is always favorable, especially if you're in the vaults. And I know, yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, and an important thing to say about impermanent loss or gains, impermanent diversion, basically from the other token that you're in, since we are so much in contact with other tokens in this case, like all the other LPs. What you're losing to would be the other tokens that we LP with, or what you're gaining with. So it's rather, if you choose XUSD, you're basically also in a way using for a group of pulse chain tokens. It's a bit, in a way, it's not directly so, but there is an aspect to it that makes it so. And I think it's important to realize that all of the minting of new tokens do go, or most of it does go to the LPs. So
yes, and I would like to
it's
take the
indeed
last question that
gains.
Rofil asked. Rofil asks, do we have excess funds to support this XUSD floor? Well, technically, we do have the funds for that. We are focusing our budget primarily for protecting the peg when peg happens, because we do anticipate sell pressure immediately upon hitting peg. So our excess funds are mainly going to be directed towards protecting the peg instead of using the funds to keep the floor right now, because it makes more sense to do so. And that's what our long-term vision is.
And honestly, one thing I would like to say, like, floors are critical in a sense, but we have to also realize that selling and buying is just a natural part of the ecosystem. Knowing that the inflation is going to be turned off is a huge thing. If you look at the chart currently, it's almost at a linear slope, meaning that's almost all from inflation or all from distribution. Not only that, but we force sell almost half, or at least half, of the distribution aspect, because when you claim from the trading rewards where most of the rewards are going to, it's automatically half dumped into the other token to make LPs with. So because it is in a linear path, kind of like how it is right now, it means that most of the sell pressure is from like the rewards aspect of it, meaning that we pretty much are at like a floor if you tilt it sideways, if you will.
That's a lovely way of seeing it. I think we should also end the AMA with this. I do like the fact that we got onto a real load of questions by the end, and I would really encourage anyone who's listening to this or watching the reruns, like, hey, either try to join us and try to ask these questions, or if you wish, you can always ask them beforehand. You can either put them in the correct channel in the Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord yet, please do. Or you can DM them to me, or at me in the chat, and I will just note them down for the next AMA. So please ask your questions, even if you can't ask them live, then we'll get to them. With that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us all, and thanks for the nice talk.
Yeah, have a good one, everybody. Nice
it for
talking
me.
to you. We will see you next week, and we'll catch you all later.
Yeah, bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.